guys, it's Miss Knowles here. Hope y'all are doing well. For today's video, we are going to be making improv cubes or improvisation cubes. Now, if we were at class, I would be asking you, okay class, who remembers what improv is? And I would see a whole bunch of your hands shoot up in the air, and someone would say, improv is acting without a script. So if you recall from all the lessons we've done on improv, improv is acting without a script. Now, most of the time in improv, though, you do get a scenario or a situation. So because I know that you all love improv so much, we are going to be making some improv cubes at home so that you can teach your family how to play improv and practice your improvisation while you're at home. Now, to make these cubes, you are going to need 3 pieces of construction paper, a pair of scissors, some tape, and a marker or a pencil. Now, there's an easy way. If you have a printer, I'm going to put a link to how to print off cubes. If you want to print off cubes and cut them and make them out, that's fine. I myself, like several other people, have apparently run out of ink. So I'm going to teach you how to make cubes without having to print anything off in case you don't have access to a printer or anything like that. But if you do have access to a printer, I will put a link in the description for you so you can print off your own cubes if you would rather do that as well. So you can see I've made 2 of my cubes already. This is what we're kind of looking for when it ends, and I'll explain those at the end. But we're going to start off with making our character cube. So I'm going to take my 1 piece of paper right here, and this time I'm going to fold it in 3 pieces long ways. So instead of folding it in half, we're going to fold it in 3 pretty even pieces like that. So you're going to just fold it down. Try to make it sure it's as neat as possible. It's okay if it's a little off, and make it as neat as possible. Then you're going to fold it in half and in half again. So make sure your creases are really nice. Make sure you press down really hard on all of them so that everything looks good. When you open it up to the one long, you should have 4 squares there. And then when you open it up total, you're going to have 12. Now, this next part is the only part where you really need to pay attention as far as what you're doing is for the cutting. When you cut, you're going to be cutting basically a little bit beside the lines on a few places. So we're going to cut out this box and this box up top. And then down here, we're going to cut out this box, this box, this box, and this box. So when you cut them all out, you're going to end up leaving the 4 in the middle and then 2 on sides. That's how you're going to make your cube. Now, as I said before, when you cut, you don't want to cut right on the folded line. You want to cut a little bit off of it. So, for example, when I cut here, this is my folded line right here. I'm going to cut just a little bit off of it so I have a little bit of flap to hold over, so when I do my fold, it makes it a little bit easier. So I cut right there. Then I go to my other side, and I'm going to do the same thing, leaving a little bit of a flap there. And then I go to my bottom. Just going to cut. So when you're cutting, you want to make sure that you are only cutting out those 4 pieces. You want to make sure you leave everything else, because otherwise then you will not be able to make your cube. And you cut all the way there. Now, if you want, you can save these pieces of scrap paper so that we can make puppets and things like that later, or you can throw them away. It's up to you. So when you take it out, it's going to make kind of a long plus cross shape kind of there, and that's what you're looking for to make your cube. Now, before you fold your box into your cube, you want to make sure you're writing on them. So for each of the 3 cubes, you're going to make different. So this one right here is going to be our character cube. We are going to write down stock characters on this cube as different people we could act out. Now remember, when we do improvisation, we want to make sure that we are using stock characters, not named characters. So a stock character is a character type. A named character would be a recognizable character. So instead of doing Superman or Spider-Man, we want to make sure we write down superhero. Instead of writing down Grandma Mimi or whatever your grandmother's name is, you want to write down maybe old person. That's okay. We don't want to write down anyone like SpongeBob or the Muppets or anything like that because once again we want to use character names. So I might put down a toddler. I might put down a fireman. I'm going to put down a football player. Remember, do not put real football players' names, just put down the character. And I'm going to put down a princess. Now, you do not have to use my people. This is your cube. You get to make up the characters that you want to put down. I'm going to put a picture up. You can see at this picture that there's a whole bunch of different characters you can choose. You can choose one of those characters. You can make up your own characters. You can do what you want with this, but you need to think of 6 characters that you would like to act out. So you're going to make one of these is going to be your characters. And then you're also going to have one that is your setting. This is going to be, remember, a setting is where you are. Beach, Disney World, a supermarket, a forest, a school, and a park. Once again, you don't have to use mine. You can use any ideas that you want, but the idea is going to be the same for all. So you're going to cut it out, you're going to write on it, and then you're going to tape them. The last cube you're going to make is going to be your emotions for your character. Now, if you are a kindergarten or a first grader, you can use very, very easy emotions like happy, mad, sleepy, things like that. Now, if you are in 2nd, 3rd, or 4th grade and you want to get a little bit more creative, you might want to use more descriptive words like enraged or terrified or, I think I missed one, but yeah. You get the idea. Enraged, terrified, exhausted, ecstatic, bored. Look at the picture I'm putting up now. You can see there your 6 general emotions, which if you would like to use those, you can. If you want to use something more descriptive, you can as well. Because keep in mind, there is a big difference between being mad and being enraged. And you know that there is a difference. And the more descriptive you get with your character's emotions, the more descriptive you'll get with your improv. So go ahead and think about those. You're going to write down your emotions on one. So you'll have an emotion cube, you'll have a setting cube, and then you're going to have your character cube. So after you've written all of your information down, then you are going to put your cube together. So you're going to make sure you actually fold on the actual lines for this. So you're going to fold 2 of them up to start off with. I usually start up near the top. And then your flaps are going to kind of give you something to tape onto, in theory. So, for example, this is going to be taped right here. I usually probably will tear that just a little bit just to help it out. And you can go like this. Fold this down. And we're going to tape right here. Let me get my tape out. So we're going to tape there. Then I'll go to the other side. Make sure I have a good flap to use. Hold that and tape right there. So you're going to keep doing that until all of your edges are complete. Okay, so I've finished making all of my cubes. You can see I have my character cube, my traits cube, and my setting cube. Now, there's 2 different ways you can play this game. One, if you are playing by yourself, all you have to do is simply take these and roll them, and then figure out what would you say if you were in this situation. If I was an enraged toddler at Disney World, what would I say? Now, if you're in kindergarten or 1st grade, you only need to make up maybe 3 or 4 sentences of how would you act if you were an enraged toddler at Disney World. If you're in 2nd through 5th grade, I want you to think a little bit more. Think about what monologue would you make up that's about 30 seconds long that you could act out as a toddler in Disney World. Remember, Even as an enraged toddler that doesn't have many words, I cannot just simply stand there and repeat no, 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 no for 30 seconds. You gotta act it out. So if I roll these again, I am a mad football player at the beach. Why would I be a mad football player at the beach? Or maybe I am at a school, I'm a fireman, and I am sad. What could be going on at school that is fireman and sad? You can play it all sorts of ways. Now, if you have someone in your house that you can get to play do improvisation with you, you're going to play it slightly differently. First, you're going to roll your setting cube to see where you are. So everybody's at the park. Then one person will roll the 2 dice to see what they are. So the first person would be a sad old person. And then the next person would roll theirs. And this person is an enraged princess. So what would an enraged princess and a sad old person talk about in the park? So that's how you kind of play your 2 different improvisation games. Now, please keep in mind when you are doing this, we have some improvisation rules that we've talked about. I'm putting up Tina Fey's improvisation rules that she uses as well, just so you guys can have a visual. These are things like always agree. Remember, you always have to agree to what the other person has put out. If they say that there's a dinosaur coming down the park, you can't be like, no, that's not a dinosaur. If they say, oh my goodness, I broke your cell phone, you can't be like, oh, well, I have 10 more cell phones here. You always have to agree. Once you agree, we say, well, you go yes and. Yes and means that you are adding to it. Yes, there's a dinosaur coming down the park, and he's chasing a kitten. Whatever it is, add to the story. Next, always make sure you are making statements. Don't ask questions. It's a lot harder on your improv partner if you're saying, well, what do you want to do? What do you think that is? Where are we going to go? How should we do this? Don't ask questions. Don't put the responsibility of making up the story on your partner's shoulders. You make up some things. I think we should go swing. I think we should do this. I feel scared. Make statements. Try not to ask many questions when you're doing improv. And finally, remember, there's no mistakes. If you say something you didn't mean to do, if you fall down, if you get silly, it's okay. It's improv. This is about creativity and having fun. Well, guys, I miss you all a whole lot. I hope you all are doing well. Remember, you can always email me or dojo me if you need anything, and I hope to see you all again soon. Bye.